Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Uh, Sorry for missing two consecutive classes due to an unavoidable situation. Uh, I'll start with the brief review of the last lecture that we held on sequences. We defined the sequence which is generated by this notation. It is a function whose domain is a set of positive integers and the range is a set of real numbers. So every infinite sequence has the same domain. That is why instead of writing down in the form of ordered pairs, we write down sequences as using the set notation, but this is not a set because in set we write down every element only once. But since in sequence the output can repeat, it is repeated as many times, we write it as many times. After discussing these examples, we discussed that we can have graphs of functions, and the graph of functions would be of this type, that x is equal to 1, y is something, x is equal to 2, y is something, x is equal to 3, y is something. So we will have in the graph of sequence as a function discrete points which cannot be joined with a continuous line because we only have discrete points on the graph of the sequence. But what we do, we project every point on the graph of the sequence on the y-axis, and then use this y-axis as a horizontal line where terms of the sequence are placed like this. So this is a representation of y-axis where the range of values of the function as a sequence are placed. For example, for this function, the placement of the terms are like this. So infinitely many terms, for this case, like close to 0, as n becomes larger and larger, we will have numbers closer and closer to 0. We discussed these examples where we observed that some of the sequence have limit a single limit, some of them have multiple limits. Uh, uh, And we noted down that when we project them in terms of the sequence from y-axis and represent them on a horizontal line, we have this kind of situation. In case of this sequence, we have placement of terms of the sequence of the line as this. None of the term is to the left of 1, whereas infinitely many terms are close to 1 on the right hand side. This. So as n becomes larger and larger, the point or the term of the sequence comes closer and closer to 1, and we say that the limit of the sequence is 1. Whereas in this case, when we have an alternating type of series sequence with plus minus signs, we see that the terms of the sequence are placed infinitely many to the left of minus 1, infinitely many to the right of 1. In which case we see that the limit of the sequence is either plus 1 or minus 1. In fact, both are the limits of the sequence. Some sequences have single limit, some have multiple limits, some can have infinite limits. So then we come to the idea of what we mean by convergence of an infinite sequence. And instead of repeating this definition, which is the fundamental definition of convergence of the sequence, which says that all the terms of the sequence lie between two numbers. If the sequence is convergent and converges to some point L, then we have an interval about L minus 1 to L plus 1, and all the terms of the sequence lie within this interval, except for first few terms that we can count. These are infinite, these are finite number of terms, and rest of the infinite number of terms are lying in the interval L minus 1 to L plus L minus epsilon to L plus epsilon. And this is the message of the convergence. that if a sequence converges to a limit L, then a small neighborhood or interval about L should contain infinitely many terms of the sequence and only finite number of terms should be outside. Like this sequence, and we will see, we demonstrated that limit of the sequence is 1, and we considered small intervals about 1, like 1 minus 0.1 and 1 plus 0.1, and we saw that all the terms of the sequence are within this, except for the first few terms, and these can be counted. Mm. So that was the conclusion. Okay. Mm. What's the meaning of convergence? And we then noted something special. For a sequence, if there exists a limit such that L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon interval contains infinite number of terms, but an infinite number of terms of the sequence are also found outside this interval, then the sequence does not converge to L. So this is the case of mentioning that multiple limits अगर हैं तो फिर sequence convergent नहीं कहलाती. And we reconsidered this example where one limit is 1. So infinitely many terms of the sequence are to the right of 1 here, but also infinitely many terms are here, that is towards the left of -1. So this sequence is not convergent. So finding a limit is one problem, and determining whether the sequence is convergent or not is another problem. Finding a limit, and you can find a single limit, you can find multiple limit, you can find infinite limit. So limit finding is one problem. And determining whether the sequence is convergent, that means we have to find the limit, and that limit has to be unique. And then we say that the sequence is convergent. Sequence is divergent if it is not convergent. As simple as that. In that case, either it has multiple limits or its limit is either positive infinity or negative infinity. If two sequences are added, the limits are added. If a sequence is constant, its limit is the constant. If a constant times the sequence is considered, then the limit of the sequence is multiplied by the constant. Subtracting two sequences, the limits are subtracted. Multiplying two sequences, limits are multiplied. If you divide two sequences, the limits are divided, but the denominator should not be 0 as usual. And we consider some examples, and we discussed different methods of finding limits. For example, in this case, n upon e power n, which is the format infinity upon infinity, where Elias L'Hopital rule can be applied in this case, and then the limit is obtained. We can have this situation, which is another indeterminate form, infinity raised to power 0. So we use that rule y is equal to x power 1 upon x and apply log on the both sides to make it infinity by infinity form, and then apply on this infinity by infinity form L'Hopital rule and obtain the limit of this part only. That means log y approaches to 0, and then removing log, we have y approaching e raised to power 0, and that is 1. Another way of finding the limit. I discussed different examples and some questions of exercise 9.1 as well. One of the theorems that says that a sequence converges to a limit L if and only if the sequence of even numbered terms and the sequence of odd numbered terms both converge to L. This has a special significance which tells us that if we remove some terms from the sequence, like ये sequence है हमारे पास, इसमें सारी जो odd numbered term है, first, third, fifth, seventh, etc. अगर वो निकाल दें, तो अब even numbered sequence रह गई, तो वो भी converge करेगी L पे, अगर original sequence converge करेगी L पे. इसी तरह अगर even numbered निकाल दूँ सारी terms, तो sequence रह जाएगी S1, S3, S5. This will also converge to L. Of course, all these things can be proved, but the proofs are not the part of this particular course. Another result that a sequence converges to L, another sequence converges to L, whereas there is a third sequence such that the terms of the third sequence lie between the terms of the first sequence and the second sequence, both of which converge to L. Then the third sequence should also converge to L, which is known as sandwich theorem. And I considered some of the examples to demonstrate that how the sandwich theorem is used. And then I mentioned that exercise 9.1, question range 5 to 30, and I hope you have gone through them. And if someone asked a question during last 2-3 days and I did not respond due to reasons, so please you can send your queries again on WhatsApp, and I will inshallah respond as soon as possible. Then we come to special cases where sequence is strictly increasing. That means every coming term is greater than the previous term. We say that use this notation, upward arrow, to indicate that the sequence is increasing. If every coming term is less than the previous term, then the sequence is decreasing. Word is strictly increasing. There is no possibility of equality. I have to break because power is gone, and I'll arrange for the backup, and then I'll गाड़ी देवी मैं इसी से लगा लूंगा कोई मुश्किल Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us continue. I was talking about strictly increasing or strictly decreasing, where the coming term is, there is no possibility of equality with the previous term. But if there is a possibility of equality with the previous term, then we use terms steadily increasing and steadily decreasing. Another term is used monotonic increasing and monotonic decreasing for steadily cases. How do we determine that the sequence is increasing? We consider the ratio of the next term with the previous term. If it is greater than 1, it is increasing. If it is less than 1, it is decreasing. And we demonstrated some of the examples using this ratio test of increasing, decreasing. We can use the derivative for the given sequence. We take the derivative. If the derivative is proved to be positive for all x greater than 1, then the sequence, since function is increasing, the sequence corresponding is increasing. So mostly ratio test is used, but the difference test is also used. That is an plus 1 minus an. If it is positive, the sequence is increasing, otherwise decreasing. An important result, inserting or deleting a finite number of terms. इससे पहले हमने डिस्कस किया था कि अगर किसी इनफिनिट सीक्वेंस में से हम ऑड नंबर्ड सीक्वेंस टर्म्स निकाल दें तब भी वो कन्वर्जेंट रहेगी, या इवन नंबर ऑफ टर्म्स निकाल दें तो बाकी जो बचेगी वो भी कन्वर्जेंट होगी। यहाँ पे जो रिजल्ट है वो ये है कि अगर हम किसी सीक्वेंस में ए फाइनाइट नंबर ऑफ टर्म्स इंसर्ट कर दें एडिशनल या डिलीट कर दें, तो सीक्वेंस के बिहेवियर में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। अगर उसकी लिमिट एल है तो वो लिमिट एल ही रहेगी, अगर वो कन्वर्ज कर रही है तो कन्वर्ज ही करेगी, अगर वो डाइवर्ज कर रही है तो डाइवर्ज ही करेगी। द टर्म बिहेवियर मीन्स ऑल दैट व्हाट आई हैव जस्ट सेड। One of the most important results of this part of the discussion on sequences is that if there is a sequence which is eventually increasing, in the problems of increasing and decreasing, we find that increasing or decreasing trend is initially not found there in first few terms, but eventually we have that sequence is either increasing or decreasing. So we use a term when a sequence is eventually increasing, then one of the following facts are always there. If all the terms of the sequence are less than some finite number, we say that the sequence is bounded above. If the sequence, we have said that it is increasing, then in this case, the sequence will converge to a limit less than the upper bound. So in brief, we say that an increasing sequence which is bounded above, it converges always. So if the sequence which is increasing is not bounded above, no upper bound exists, then the limit of the sequence should be infinity. That means the sequence will be divergent. Similarly, if a sequence is decreasing, of course, eventually decreasing, and all the terms of the sequence are greater than some small number, some finite number, the number is called lower bound, and in this case, the sequence is said to be bounded below. Now, terms of the sequence are decreasing and they are bounded below, then the limit of the sequence should be greater than the small number, which is lower bound. A brief statement should be that when a sequence is decreasing but bounded below, then it should converge to some limit L. If it is not, if a sequence is decreasing but it is not bounded below, that means it is going to minus infinity and the sequence is not convergent. So this is what we discussed in the last lecture, and I discussed some of the problems in exercise 9.2, where we explore how to find this, whether the sequence is increasing or decreasing using the difference test, an next term minus previous term. Agar ye positive hai to increasing, agar negative hai to decreasing. Then we consider the ratio test for increasing, decreasing, that is an plus 1 upon an. If it is greater than 1, the sequence is increasing. If it is less than 1, sequence is decreasing. Then some of the problems are there where we use derivative, make a corresponding function. If the derivative comes out to be positive for all n greater than or equal to 1, then the corresponding sequence is increasing. If the derivative comes out to be negative, then the sequence is decreasing. These are some problems in which initial trend is different and ultimately it becomes like either strictly increasing or strictly decreasing. So these were things that we discussed in the last lecture. So I have quickly gone through that lecture again. And now I come to the new thing, the infinite series. And we will spend some significant time in the study of infinite series. Can you see this page which has the heading infinite series?
Yes, sir.
Did I discuss anything of infinite series last time?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's start with the study of infinite series. And we define infinite series in reflection to an infinite sequence. Suppose we have an infinite sequence, U1, U2, U3, etc. We can write sum of all the terms of this sequence as this. So this is the sum of infinite number of terms in the sequence UN, and we use this notation to represent this sum. So such a sum can be finite or infinite. And we call this an infinite series. Thus, an infinite series is an expression or a number that can be written in this form. So, as infinite series, in the simplest way, we can define as the sum of the terms of an infinite sequence. But of course, we can develop infinite series in other ways, like this example, which is obtained from one of the Russell paradoxes, which states, I hope you have heard the name of mathematician philosopher Bertrand Russell. Have you?
No, sir.
हाँ नहीं सुना? कुछ किताबें पढ़ा
No,
करो
sir,
यार. अभी सुना. That's good. ये 19th century, late 19th century और early 19th century में गुजरे हैं बर्टन रसल साहब. One of the greatest mathematician philosopher. और उन्होंने बहुत सी पैराडॉक्सेस दी हैं. रसल पैराडॉक्स के नाम से you can find many things on internet. ये पैराडॉक्स जो हम यहाँ इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं to demonstrate infinite series having a finite sum, वो ये थी कि उन्होंने कहा कि insect is programmed to travel from a point A to a point B. But the program restricts the insects to travel towards B in such a way that in one step, it travels only half the remaining distance. So first step should be only one half of the total distance B. Once it is arrived at this point, the remaining distance is half, and it has to, in the next step, to travel only half of the remaining distance. So the next step will be of size 1/4, and the rest of the distance is 1/4, and it has to take next step only 1/2 of the remaining, which is 1/8. Now we keep on adding the step size. First step was 1/2, next was 1/4, next was 1/8, next will be 1/16, next will be 1/32. And the nth step will be 1/2 raised to power n. So these are terms, these becomes terms of an infinite sequence. Russell paradox ये पूछती है कि क्या कभी insects B पे पहुंचेगा? So mathematical answer is no, it will never, because whenever insect takes a step, it moves only half of the remaining distance. So half of the remaining distance always is there. So it will never reach B. Lekin mathematically we say that the sum of all such, if there can be infinitely many steps, cannot exceed 1. So this infinite series has a sum is equal to 1. Anybody has any question or comment? A funny comment that I can also laugh about? Yeah, I can request. I cannot waste my time in moving the cursor and clicking. So please mute yourself. So Bertrand Russell की जो ये paradox है, वो कहती तो ये है कि insect under the program can never reach B, but mathematically we can say that if there are, it is possible that the insect can take infinite number of steps. Then the step sizes all added together cannot exceed 1. So this infinite series is give us number which is equal to 1. Similarly, we
less than 1 नहीं होगा.
Yes, your gut feeling says that the sum should be less than 1. But if I say that I consider the limiting case, then the limiting case should be that this goes to what? The sequence 1/2 raised to power n goes to 0 as n approaches infinity, but the sum goes to 1 as n approaches infinity. Our gut feeling or common sense sometimes is defied by mathematics. For example, in this number 1 by 3, you are all familiar with this number, which represented in the decimal form is a recurring decimal 0.33333, unending. That means I can write down this decimal form as 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.003, 0.0003, and so on. So this is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. And each term can be written in terms of 3 upon 10, 3 upon 100, 3 upon 1000, 3 upon 10,000, etc. And if I take 3 by 10 common, the rest is 1 plus 1 by 10 plus 1 by 100 plus 1 by 1000, etc., which is a geometric series where first term is 1 and the common ratio is 1 by 10. And you remember the formula for the sum of infinite series when the common ratio is less than 1. This sum formula is A upon 1 minus R that you have studied in your previous classes. And this 1 upon 1 minus 1 by 10 reduces to 10 by 9. So this sum is 10 by 9. Your gut feeling will say that it will be less than 10 by 9. But you have already studied this formula for sum of terms of a geometric series, infinite geometric series, with a common ratio less than 1 by 10 is written as this. So this part is 10 by 9. So 3 by 10 into 10 by 9, of course, it is 1 by 3. Agar hum ye kahenge, this is less than 10 by 9, so this cannot be equal to 1 by 3. But it is, we have obtained this whole series from the number 1 by 3, by writing it as recurring decimal. And we can do this for many other numbers. To explore whether an infinite series represents a finite sum that is convergent or an infinite sum that is divergent, we use an interesting way that we make sequence of partial sums in various ways. Because we have learned how to study the behavior of a sequence, so given any infinite series, we form a sequence of partial sums. I have written here in various ways. Different methods हम इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं partial sum के, लेकिन generalized method क्या है? Generalized method ये है कि first partial sum is S1, which is only the first term of the infinite series. Second partial sum is the sum of first two terms, U1 plus U2. Or you can say first partial sum plus U2 is the next partial sum. The third partial sum is the sum of first three terms. Or you can say second partial sum plus U3. Fourth partial sum is the sum of first four terms. Or you can say that it is in fact S3 plus U4. N minus 1 of partial sum will be the sum of n minus 1 terms of the infinite series. Nth partial sum will be the sum of first n terms of the infinite series. So from infinite series, we have made this sequence of partial sums as n is equal to 1 to infinity. Now, if the limit of this sequence of partial sum, and when n approaches infinity, will make what? Infinite partial sum, which is the infinite series itself. So अगर मुझे ये देखना है कि infinite series result into a finite number or an infinite number or multiple numbers, I will explore the behavior of the corresponding sequence of partial sums, because sequence की behavior के explore करने के method में पढ़ चुका हूँ, मैं समझ चुका हूँ. So this is the fundamental way of exploring whether an infinite series results into a finite number or a infinite number. Whether an infinite series converges to a single number or diverges to multiple numbers or infinity. Now, if this sequence of partial sums is convergent, that means limit Sn as n approaches infinity is finite and unique. Say this limit is S, then the infinite series is also convergent to this limit S. So this limit Sn approaches S as n approaches infinity means this infinite series goes to S, or the sum of this expression, this infinite series is S. But if the sequence is not convergent, that means sequence has multiple values, limits are infinite or negative infinite, then that means the sequence is divergent. In that case, the series will also be divergent. So first of all, we explore our known infinite series. You are familiar with geometric series AR power n, which is A plus AR plus AR square plus AR cube, so on, AR raised to power n minus 1, continued. Suppose that this geometric series has a sum S. I take A common from this. The rest is 1 plus R square plus R cube, etc. The nth partial sum will be 1 plus R square up to R raised to power n minus 1. N minus 1 because in the first term there is no R. So finite sum or the nth partial sum can be generated as this, written as this. We multiply it by 1 minus R divided by 1 minus R, and that converts into 1 minus R raised to power n upon 1 minus R. So this is the formula for the sequence of partial sums of a geometric series, except for कि हमने A को अलग कर दिया है. So infinite geometric series will then be obtained by taking the limit of this infinite sequence, जिसकी जनरल टर्म ये है, so A से मल्टीप्लाई करके. Let us explore the limit of this infinite geometric series. The first case is that the common ratio is less than 1. And you know that in that case, this in part, 1 minus R raised to power n upon 1 minus R, Rn goes to 0 in case value of R is less than 1.
सर ये आपने जो है पहले स्टेप में क्या किया?
जी दोबारा बोलिए.
सर ये जो स्टेप है जहाँ आपका पॉइंटर है उस जहाँ लिखा है nth partial sum of इसके नीचे वाले स्टेप.
हाँ ये इनफिनिट सम लिखा हुआ है. इनफिनिट
इसके नीचे वाले स्टेप.
हाँ मैंने से लेबल किया 1 को U1, R को U2, R स्क्वायर को U3, R क्यूब को U4, R पावर n माइनस 1 को UN. अगर मैं सिर्फ यहाँ तक का सम लूँ तो इसको हमने कहा ये nth पार्शियल सम है. First partial sum will be only 1, second partial sum 1 plus R, third partial sum 1 plus R square, and so on. So nth partial sum, that means the sum of first n terms of this series. Okay?
सर तो एक कहाँ गया?
A को अलग कर दिया बेटा थोड़ी देर के लिए. सिर्फ जो ब्रैकेट के अंदर सीरीज है सिर्फ इस पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट किया. ये मैं पहले बताया था कि A को हमने सेपरेट कर दिया.
अच्छा.
वो तो फिक्स नंबर है ना, उसको सेपरेट कर दिया हमने. रेस्ट ऑफ द टर्म दे मेक एन इनफिनिट सीरीज, जिसमें अब इसके अंदर A जो है 1 हो गया, पहली टर्म 1 हो गई, कॉमन रेशियो R हो गया. सो आई वाज मेंशनिंग दैट अगर मैं nth पार्शियल सम को जो कि 1 प्लस आर स्क्वायर से लेके R प्लस आर रेज़ टू पावर n माइनस 1 तक है, इस पूरे को 1 माइनस आर से मल्टीप्लाई करूँ और 1 माइनस आर से डिवाइड करूँ, तो ये अलजेब्रा में करके नहीं दिखाऊंगा, आप खुद कीजिएगा. पहले 1 को इन तमाम टर्म से मल्टीप्लाई कीजिए, फिर माइनस आर को इन तमाम टर्म से मल्टीप्लाई कीजिए, सारी टर्म कैंसिल हो जाएंगी, सिर्फ 1 बचेगा ऊपर और आर रेज़ टू पावर n बचेगा. So this nth partial sum formula is obtained as 1 minus r raised to power n. U के क्या है? U1 is 1, U2 is R, U3 is R square, U4 is R 3. So UK is the kth term of this infinite series. And we have now added first n terms of this series to make a formula for n terms of the series. अब हमने वापस a को भी साथ मिला लिया. So this infinite series is nothing but the limit n approaching infinity of a times the general sum or nth partial sum multiplied. So जो इसकी limit होगी, that will be the result of this infinite series. If this is understood, then I proceed further.
सर ये n0 होगा या n1 होगा?
देखो n0 क्यों लिया है हमने? अगर मैं n0 लेता हूं तो r raised to power 0 क्या होगा?
1 होगा.
तो तुम फेमिलियर हो इस चीज से कि पहली टर्म a होती है, दूसरी टर्म ar
Yes,
होती है.
yes.
इस वजह से इसको हमने 0 से शुरू किया है. और मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले बात की थी, कुछ टर्म्स डाल दो, कुछ टर्म निकाल दो, उससे बिहेवियर में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, चाहे इनफिनिट सीक्वेंस हो चाहे इनफिनिट सीरीज हो. तो हमने कुछ डाला नहीं, कुछ निकाला नहीं, बट हमने इंडेक्स को 0 से शुरू किया है. So if the point, this discussion is clear up to this point, I move forward. This is my base of discussing the behavior of this geometric series. Geometric series के behavior को explore करने के लिए मुझे ये limit evaluate करनी पड़ेगी. उसके different cases हैं. First case, I'm considering r in the mod less than 1. इसका मतलब r is between -1 and 1. When r is less than 1, r raised to power n. कोई नंबर जो 1 से छोटा है, like 0.9, उसकी पावर लेना शुरू करो. यकीन ना हो तो जरा कैलकुलेटर उठा लो. 0.9 की पावर 2, 0.9 की पावर 3, 0.9 की पावर 100, 0.9 की पावर 1000, and you will see that the results are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and the limit as n approaches infinity, r raised to power n goes to 0 when r is less than 1. When r is less than 1, this r raised to power n approaches 0. तो बाकी क्या बचा? So we got the limit to be 1 upon 1 minus r. That means the sum of this infinite series, in what case? When r is less than 1, in fact between -1 and 1, and we are left with 1 upon 1 minus r. ये वही फॉर्मूला है जो तुमने previous classes में देखा है, geometric series का infinite sum. So this a is finite, r is finite, so the result of this infinite series through this process of taking limit of this is obtained to be finite and unique. The geometric series is convergent in case the common ratio is less than 1. We will consider many geometric series in exercises. Now, if r is equal to 1, so we have to go back to the original series and place r is equal to 1 here. A plus a plus a plus a plus a. अगर n copies a की ऐड करूंगा, n a हो जाएगा. और उस पर जब लिमिट लगाऊंगा n approaches infinity, so this will give me infinite result. So in case the common ratio is 1, the geometric series goes to infinity, and we say that it is divergent in case r is equal to 1. In case r is equal to -1, we will have partial sums which vary. S1 will be only first term 1, S2 will be 1 minus 1, 0, S3 will be 0 plus 1, 1, S4 will be S3 minus 1, that is 0. So partial sums with the odd index, they are all 1. So the sequence of odd indices goes to 1, sequence of even indices goes to 0. That means our sequence this has two limits, 1 and 0. So having two limits, this infinite series is divergent for n is equal to -1 as well. Last case, when the common ratio is greater than 1. when the common ratio is greater than 1, r raised to power n, एक नंबर तुम 1.01 ही ले लो जो कि greater than 1 है. मैं तुम्हें 2 या 10 या 100 लेने को नहीं कह रहा. 1.01 भी ले लो और उसकी पावर लेके चले जाओ, it will keep on increasing, and after infinite number of times it will become infinite. So as n approaches infinity, r raised to power n goes to positive infinity or negative infinity depending on r की value positive 1 से बड़ी है या negative 1 से छोटी है. Anyways, r n raised to power n goes to infinity, and that means this general sum goes to infinity or minus infinity. And in case common ratio is greater than 1, geometric series is divergent. So when we will solving problem, we'll construct a geometric series out of the given problem and use these cases. Wherever common ratio is less than 1 or between -1 and 1, हम वहाँ ये डायरेक्ट रिजल्ट इस्तेमाल कर लेंगे कि ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज इज कन्वर्जेंट, और ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज जिस सीरीज के अंदर बन रही है वो सीरीज कन्वर्जेंट होगी. r -1 और r is equal to -1, r is equal to 1 और r greater than 1, हम डायरेक्टली रिजल्ट इस्तेमाल करेंगे कि ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज चूंकि इसकी कॉमन रेशियो 1, -1 या ग्रेटर देन 1 एंड लेस देन -1 है, लिहाजा ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज इज डाइवर्जेंट. So we'll be using this result directly. हार्मोनिक सीरीज भी आपने देखी होगी, which is the reciprocal of the terms of an arithmetic sequence. Arithmetic sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the simplest arithmetic sequence. अगर इसकी terms को हम in reciprocal ले लें, so we get the harmonic sequence and series 1, 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, and so on. And here is one example where मैंने ऊपर एक comment किया था कि we make partial sums in different ways. In order to find out whether the sequence of partial sums is convergent or divergent. अगर sequence of partial sums converge करेगी तो series converge करेगी, अगर sequence of partial sums diverge करेगी तो series diverge करेगी. To explore the partial sum, we have a special scheme in this harmonic sequence case. We consider S2 instead of considering S1, S2, S3. We are considering a partial sums in a special way. Any first or second term, that is second partial sum, 1 plus 1/2 is greater than 1, or I write 1 plus 1/2. So S2 is greater than 1 plus 1/2. If I look at S4, that means sum of the first 4 terms. So that is a second partial sum plus 1/3 plus 1/4. Now, S2 was 1. So 1 plus 1/3 plus 1/4. This is greater than 1 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 because I have replaced 1/3 by 1/4, which is a smaller number. So this part is greater than this. This add up to 1 plus half, which is 3/2, but I write it as 2 plus 1/2 for a special reason. S2 और S4 के बाद हम S8 कंसीडर कर रहे हैं. S8 का मतलब है first 8 terms. First 4 terms we have already got as 3/2, and the next 4 terms 1/5, 1/6, 1/7, 1 plus 1/8. ये सारे numbers 1/5, 1/6, 1/7 अगर 1/8 से replace कर दिए जाएं, which is smaller, so this S8 will become greater than this number, that add up to 3/2 plus 4/8 or 1/2, that I write not S2 but 3 plus 1/2 for a special reason. अच्छा भाई, first line second partial sum जिसका index 2 raised to power 1 है. Second line fourth partial sum जिसका index 4 यानी 2 square है. Next line eighth partial sum जिसमें index 8 जो कि 2 raised to power 3 है. So 16th partial sum जिसका index 16 which is 2 to the power 4 है, ये जो trend आ रहा है 1 plus 1/2, 2 plus 1/2, 3 plus 1/2, that will be repeated here. We can work it out and show that this is greater than 4 plus 1/2. So S32, next 32nd partial sum will come out to be greater than 5 plus 1/2. That means if I take partial sums up to term number 2 raised to power n, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 256 so on, तो ये जो partial sum है, this will always be greater than n plus 1 upon 2. This is the first tricky method of considering partial sums. मुझको एक बात बताओ. Looking here, 1 plus 1 by 2 is the second partial sum. That means sum of first two terms. S4 is sum of first four terms. S8 is sum of first 8 terms. S16 is sum of first 16 terms. पहले तो ये बात समझ लें. S32 is the sum of first 32 terms. किसकी? इस सीरीज की. Okay. Now, second partial sum 1 plus 1 by 2. अगर 1 की जगह 1 by 2 रख दूं तो रिजल्ट जो है ये होगा. ये 3 by 2 है, ये 1 है. तो कौन सा बड़ा है? 3 by 2 बड़ा है या 1 बड़ा है? So here I just try to make you understand that the second partial sum is greater than 1, and I can write down 1 as 1 plus 1 upon 2. Any issue? Mariam, do you get it? This line?
सर ये एक बार प्लीज रिपीट कर देंगे वापस, ही नहीं समझ आ रहा.
रिपीट तो कर रहा हूँ
सर, अभी भी नहीं समझ आया ये कि ये 1 plus 1 upon 2 सिर्फ 2 upon 2 कैसे बच गया, मतलब उसमें.
एक बात सुनो. 1 plus 1 by 2 में 1 की जगह में 1 by 2 रख दूं तो पहले तो ये बताओ कि ये साइड बड़ी है कि ये साइड बड़ी है?
लेफ्ट वाली सर.
ठीक. राइट साइड जो है 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 लिखा हुआ है, जो कि 1 होता है. समझ में आ रहा है? ये भी समझाऊं कि 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 1 कैसे होता है. और उसके बाद 1 को एक स्पेशल पर्पस के लिए हमने 2 by 2 या 1 plus 1 upon 2 लिखा. कोई हर्ज? कोई मैथमेटिकल डिफिकल्टी? सिवाय इसके कि क्यों लिखा? सिवाय इसके कि क्यों लिखा? तो मैंने कहा एक स्पेशल पर्पस के लिए. अच्छा, अब आ जाओ S4 पे.
का पर्पस है.
S4 पे आने का मतलब ये कि फर्स्ट फोर टर्म्स जिसमें से फर्स्ट टू टर्म्स S2 है, जो कि हम 1 निकाल चुके हैं कि वो 3 by 2 है. तो यहां पे मुझे 3 by 2 लिखना चाहिए. S2 जो है वो 3 by 2 था. 1 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. अब 3 by 2 की जगह 1 लिख दिया और 1 by 3 की जगह why we have taken only sums of even. नहीं, हम even की नहीं ले रहे हैं. even टर्म्स ले रहे होते तो S2 S4 के बाद S6 आता है. हम S2 S4 के बाद S8 ले रहे हैं, फिर S16 ले रहे हैं. 2 raised to power n टर्म्स ले रहे हैं. ठीक है. Coming to this line, S4 is S2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. S2 has been evaluated as 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. 3 by 2 की जगह 1 रख दूं, 1 by 4 की जगह 1 by 3 की जगह 1 by 4 रख दूं. तो अब ये नंबर बड़ा होगा या ये नंबर बड़ा होगा?
वापस लेफ्ट वाली साइड
बड़ी होगी. राइट वाली साइड 1 plus 1 by 2 हो गई, जिसको मैं 3 by 2 लिख सकता हूं, लेकिन मैंने इसको plus 1 upon 2 लिखा है फॉर अ स्पेशल पर्पस. S2 is greater than 1 plus 1 by 2. S4 is greater than 2 plus 1 by 2. Then I've gone to S8. So ये जो सवाल पूछा गया था कि हम इवन टर्म्स में ले रहे हैं, नहीं इवन नहीं ले रहे हैं हम, इवन में से भी कुछ खास ले रहे हैं। S2 के बाद S4 आया और S4 के बाद S6 के बजाय S8 पे चले गए। क्यों? A special way of making partial sum। और ये गौर करो कि इस तरह से पार्शियल सम्स कंसीडर करने में हमने इस सीरीज की कोई टर्म छोड़नी नहीं है। S2 में पहली 2 टर्म्स हैं, S4 में पहली 4 टर्म्स हैं, S8 में पहली 8 टर्म्स हैं, और दैट मीन्स S4 के अलावा 4 टर्म्स और, यानी पहली 4 टर्म के अलावा 4 टर्म्स और। तो S4 जो था दैट केम आउट टू बी ग्रेटर देन 3/2। तो यहाँ पे मैंने 3/2 रखा और 1/8 + 1/8 + 1/8। आप कहेंगे कि अगर मैं इन सब को ऐड करता तो क्या बनता? तो ये नंबर जो है ये 3/2 एग्जैक्टली नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन अगर अलजेब्रिकली लिखूं, अगर इक्वालिटी होती तो मैं इनका सम लिखता। बट what we need to understand is S4 is greater than 3/2, और अगर मैं S4 की जगह 3/2 लिखूं तो S4 is greater than 3/2, कोई हर्ज नहीं है। 1/5 की जगह 1/8 लिखूं तो 1/5 is greater than 1/8। 1/6 की जगह 1/8 लिखूं तो 1/6 is, so in this way the right side is still greater than the left side। so S8 इस नंबर से बड़ा है। इस नंबर को एडअप किया तो 3/2 + 1/2 बना, जिसको मैंने 3 + 1/2 लिखा। S8 involves 8, which is 2 raised to power 3, and S8 is greater than 3 + 1/2. S4 involved 2 raised to power 2. So S4 was greater than 2 + 1/2. This S2 involves 2 raised to power 1. So S2 was greater than 1 + 1/2. So S4 greater than 1 + 1/2, S2 greater than 1 + 1/2, S4 greater than 2 + 1/2. S8 is greater than 3 + 1/2. So in this way, S16 will be greater than 4 + 1/2, because 16 is 2 raised to power 4. So with the same pattern, 32 is 2 raised to power 5. So that S32 should be greater than 5 + 1/2. So the generalization is S2 raised to power n will be greater than n + 1/2. Now, if all these steps are understood, then you can follow the result that I am going to discuss. अच्छा, एक बात बता दूं कि ये जो स्कीम है इसको वर्कआउट करो टर्म बाय टर्म योरसेल्फ। जस्ट लुकिंग, वो एक बड़ी फेमस सेइंग है कि व्हेन आई लिसन मैथमेटिक्स I retain very little. When I see mathematics done in front of me, I retain a little. It is only when I do it myself that I understand it completely. तो अभी तो आप देख रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, so you will retain something. I'll try to make you understand each and every point as much as possible, but not more than that. So we have arrived at this result. The partial sum of 2 raised to power n terms is going to be greater than n + 1/2. Now, as n approaches infinity, this means you're talking about both sides. N + 1/2 goes to infinity, so that makes the sequence of partial sums of 2 raised to power n terms, which is always greater than 1/n + 1/2. तो जब ये इंफिनिटी को गया तो ये भी इंफिनिटी को गया। So I have restated here S2 power 1 is S2, S2 power 2 is S4, 4th partial sum, S2 raised to power 3 is 8th partial sum, and so on. So this is 2 power nth partial sum. goes to infinity, as n goes to infinity, and the harmonic series is divergent because the partial sum sequence of the given harmonic series is greater than always a sequence whose terms are n plus 1 upon 2. Since this goes to infinity, the harmonic series goes to infinity. So the harmonic series 1 upon n is divergent. There are other methods where we can prove that this series is divergent, but this is on the basis of the fundamental idea कि हम किसी भी series जो है उसके behavior को study करने के लिए sequence of partial sums बनाते हैं in different ways. In the previous example of geometric series, it was a simple way of making partial sums. But in this example, for harmonic series, there is a special way of making partial sums. So that explains the term जबकि मैंने कहा था कि we consider sequence of partial sums made in different ways. So here it is a very interesting and different way, and that takes us to the result that the harmonic series 1 upon n is divergent. Next, there are some more recurring decimals that are discussed, like this recurring decimal can be turned into a geometric series by breaking it as 0.784 plus 0.000784, 3 0 छोड़ के 784, then 6 0 छोड़ के 784, and so on. That means 784 upon 1000, 784 upon ये 10 to the power 3 था, ये 10 to the power 6 है, ये 10 to the power 9 है, and so on, 10 to the power 12, 10 to the power 15. तो इन सब में 784 upon 1000 अगर कॉमन निकाल लूं तो it will become 1 plus 1 upon 10 to the power 3. ज़ुहैब, इस तरह के कमेंट पे मैं पहले भी कुछ कह चुका हूं कि you are moving forward in your academic pursuit. You are not going to come across easier things, rather you will come across more complicated things that will be ultimately making more complicated things easier. So be patient, be focused, try to grasp the ideas. और positive feeling रखो. It is becoming more complicated. It will become more complicated. लेकिन जो more complicated चीजें आएंगी वो इनकी वजह से तुम्हें आसान लगने लगेंगी अगर तुम इन्हें absorb कर लो. और दूसरी बात ये है कि okay, challenge yourself to focus कि यार मुश्किल है मुझे समझ नहीं है. I have to grasp it. Yes, I believe. तुम तो सिर्फ उम्मीद की बात करो, मुझे यकीन है कि तुम सब समझ लोगे इंशाल्लाह. So I was talking about कि 784 upon 1000 अगर कॉमन ले लें तो बाकी कैल्विन का ज्यादातर काम तुम पढ़ के आए थे पिछली क्लासों में. So 784 taken common is what left here is 1 plus 1 upon 10 to the power 3, 1 upon 10 to the power 6, 1 upon 10 to the power 9. In the bracket, you have a geometric series A is equal to 1, common ratio 1 upon 10 to the power 3. So S infinity for the terms in the bracket, which is a geometric series, 1 upon 1 minus R. That makes, yes, keep saying, all is well, all is well. 3 idiots का सबसे अच्छा जुमला. So this geometric series gives you the number 1000 upon 99. So this recurring decimal is 784 upon 1000 into 1000 upon 99. That means the recurring decimal is converted to this. और ये काम मैं अगर आपको कैल्विन के टीचर ने रैशनल्स और इरेशनल नंबर्स का डिफरेंस अच्छी तरह समझाया हो तो उसने ये जरूर बताया होगा recurring decimal can always be converted to p upon q यानी integer upon integer form. So I hope example for the next you will explore it yourself. मैंने solve complete करके दी हुई है, but comments नहीं लिखे हुए. And कैल 1 में मैं तो हमेशा इस चीज का प्रूफ कराया करता था कि 0.9999 रेकरिंग इज इक्वल टू 1 एंड दैट प्रूफ इज रिपोर्टेड हियर अगेन। इस प्रूफ को करने के लिए कि 0.99999 इज इक्वल टू 1, ये ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज मेथड है, बट देयर इज अनदर मेथड कि x को तुम 0.99999 ले लो और दोनों तरफ को 10 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दो। सो 10x विल बिकम 9.99999 unending. So 10x minus x will be 10x 9x. 9.99999 minus 0.99999. So right side take a difference here, that will be only 9. Left side is 9x, and that gives x is equal to 1. Lekin we are interested in geometric series or problems where infinite series is used. So that is the first part of the infinite series, and I go to the corresponding exercise. Exercise 9.3, first two questions, आपसे कहा गया है कि in each part find exact values for the first 4 partial sums. Find a closed form of the nth partial sum and determine whether the series converges by calculating the limit of the nth partial sum. If the series converges, then state its sum. मैंने पूरा क्वेश्चन नहीं किया, only part of this I have done. पहली सीरीज S1 is equal to first partial sum. Second partial sum 2 plus 2 by 5, that is 12 by 5. Third partial sum, sum of first 3 terms 62 upon 5 square. Fourth partial sum 312 upon 5 raised to the power 3. जो मैंने नहीं किया वो ये नहीं किया कि find a closed form of the nth partial sum. So closed form of nth partial sum अगर तुम करना चाहो क्या होगा, डिनोमिनेटर की तो शक्ल बड़ी वाज़ी आ गई, 5 raised to the power n minus 1. S4 में 5 क्यूब है, S3 में 5 पावर 2 है. न्यूमरेटर क्या है, न्यूमरेटर की जनरल टर्म बना सकते हो. I leave this for your exercise. If you're not able to, I will help out in the next lecture. अच्छा जी, तो ये जो क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 और क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 है, इन सब में यही काम करना है. मैंने इस सवाल को रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर दिया है फर्स्ट 4 पार्शियल सम्स निकालने के लिए. ओके, मरियम क्या बात कह रही हो, सर 2 ही होगा ना? न्यूमरेटर जो है, look at this. This is 2 upon 5 raised to power 0. This is upon 5 raised to power 1. ये 12 था, 12 की जनरलाइज फॉर्म बनानी है. 2, 12, 62, 312. न्यूमरेटर का पैटर्न जो आ रहा है वो ये आ रहा है 2, 12, 62, 312. इसका फॉर्मूला बनाना है इन टर्म्स ऑफ n. ये मैंने आपकी एक्सरसाइज के लिए छोड़ा है. मैंने कहा है कि आप अगर कर लें तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, ना कर पाएँ तो I'll help next time. In this second case, no, in this third case, मैंने शायद थोड़ा सा काम ज़्यादा किया हुआ है. First term is this. So 1 upon 2 into 3, that is 1 upon 6. Sum of first 2 terms, 1 upon 6 plus 1 upon 3 into 2, 3 into 4. That is again simplified into 1 by 4. Then S3 यहाँ तक simplified to 3 by 10. S4 to 1. नहीं, यहाँ तो मैंने जनरलाइजेशन का कोई काम नहीं किया. फर्स्ट 4 partial sums कैलकुलेट किए. So I have left the rest of the work for you to explore, or if you're not able to do, I will help you out next time. Okay, this is question number 4 of the exercise 9.3, in which we have to discuss whether the series is convergent or not. तो हमने कह दिया कि इसका सम जो है वो s है, और उसके बाद k की वैल्यूज 1 2 3 रख के हमने टर्म्स लिखी और देखा कि ये 2/3 की पावर्स आ रही हैं, 3 4 5 सो ऑन। तो लार्जेस्ट पावर जो है उसको कॉमन ले लिया मैंने इस पूरे में से। When I take 2/3 whole raised to power 3 common, what I am left with inside the bracket here, a geometric series where a is equal to 1, r is equal to 2/3, s infinity formula, a upon 1 minus r, 1 upon 1 minus 2/3, which comes out to be 3. हमने क्या कॉमन निकाल लिया था? ये सारा ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज बनाने से पहले 2/3 raised to power 3, बाकी सब का रिजल्ट आया 3. So 2/3 raised to power 3 into 3, that comes out to be 8/9. So this infinite series converges to this finite number. So this infinite series, which seems to be arbitrary, but just look at a constant raised to power, that means we are ultimately going to get geometric series. So this was the case of geometric series. Then I've selected the question number 7. ये लिस्ट है सारे क्वेश्चंस की, मैं इसमें से क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 ये मैंने इंडिकेट कर दिया, ये ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज है, 4th ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज है, 5th ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज है, 6th ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज है. So you will not have any problem in exploring that. 7th जो कि डिफरेंट है, ये देखें हमने इसका नाम रख दिया कि हाँ भाई सम जो है वो, अच्छा k is equal to what यहाँ लिखा हुआ है, मैं नहीं लिख रहा बार बार. So इसकी जनरल टर्म जो है 1/k + 2 into k + 3 है. अगर मैं इसके पार्शियल फ्रैक्शंस बनाऊं तो I will get this result. I hope you know how to make partial fractions. और अगर आपको कोई कंफ्यूजन है तो इसका एलसीएम लेके सिंप्लीफाई कर ले. k + 2, k + 3, so k + 3 minus k minus 2 and k cancel and 1 this. अच्छा, तो इसका मतलब ये जो सम है that is representing this infinite sum. And now let us write down each term one by one. K is equal to 1. This number will become what? 1/1 plus 2, that is 1/3. 1/1 plus 3, that is 1/4. So this is the first term. What's the second term? Let us replace k by 2. That will result in 1/4 minus 1/5. The third term, k is equal to 3. इस फॉर्मूले में k is equal to 3 रख दें, 1/5 minus 1/6. K is equal to 4 रखते हैं, 1/6 minus 1/7, and so on. We see that there is a special pattern in this. पहला जो टर्म हमने कैलकुलेट की उसमें -1/4 था, और दूसरी जो कैलकुलेट की उसमें +1/4 था, तो ये कैंसिल हो गया. दूसरी टर्म में -1/5 था और अगली टर्म में +1/5 था, ये कैंसिल हो गया. तीसरी टर्म में -1/6 था, अगली टर्म में 1/6 था, ये क्या. इसका मतलब है second number in every term will be cancelled with the first number of the next term. इसका मतलब सारी टर्म्स कैंसिल हो जाएंगी, सिर्फ ये 1/3 बचेगी. This is called a telescopic sum. Yes, definitely. मैं आपसे पूरी एक्सरसाइजेस तो नहीं करवाऊंगा, लेकिन इतने एक्सरसाइज जरूर करवाऊंगा जिससे कि आप कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हो जाए. ये जो सवाल मैं आपसे करा रहा हूँ, these are sample questions so that you can go through the rest of the question yourself. तो मैं ये कह रहा था कि ये जो सम है इनको हम टेलीस्कोपिक सम्स कहते हैं. Like you are looking through the telescope and you're seeing something, and that something is only 1/3. All the rest of the terms are cancelled. So 7th is telescopic sum, 8th is telescopic sum. इसको भी मैंने डिसिफर करके दिखाया है. जनरल टर्म इज दिस. तो k is equal to 1 रखा तो ये आया, k is equal to 2 रखा तो ये आया, k is equal to 3 रखा तो ये आया, k is equal to 4 रखा तो ये आया. और इसमें भी हम देखते हैं first of the first is cancelled with the second of the second. Then first of the second is cancelled with the first of the third. 1 by 2, 1 by 1, 1 by 2 square, 1 by 2, 1 by 2 cube, 1 upon 2 square. So 1 upon 2 square cancel with this, 1 upon 2 cancel with previous one. So all terms cancel here, only second of first is survives, and that is -1. So this series is also convergent. Now look at question number 9. क्वेश्चन नंबर 9 का डिनोमिनेटर जो है वो सेकंड डिग्री पोलिनोमियल है, उसको फैक्टराइज किया, उसके पार्शियल फ्रैक्शन बनाए, और पार्शियल फ्रैक्शन बनाने के बाद पता चला साहब कि ये जो सीरीज हमें इस क्वेश्चन में दी हुई है दैट इज 1/3 कॉमन निकाल लिया मैंने, समेशन 1/3 k -1 -1 अपॉन. सो दिस इज आल्सो अ टेलीस्कोपिक सम. k की वैल्यू रखते चले जाएं इसके अंदर. k की वैल्यू 1 रखेंगे तो ये आएगा, k की वैल्यू 2 रखेंगे तो ये आएगा, k की वैल्यू 3 रखेंगे तो आएगा, सो ऑन. और कैंसिलेशन जिस चीज़ की हो रही है मैंने डिफरेंट कलर्स में की है ताकि आपको पता चले कि कौन सा नंबर किससे कैंसिल हो रहा है. सो 1/3 आउटसाइड और टेलीस्कोपिक सम के अंदर से बचा 1/2. सो द सीक्वेंस कन्वर्जेस टू 1/6. Uh, 11th question, 1 upon k minus 2. Starting at k is equal to 3. क्वेश्चन ने कहा है कि दिस स्टार्ट्स एट k is equal to 3. तो ये 1 + 1/2 + 1, ये तो हार्मोनिक सीरीज है जो कि हम ऑलरेडी कंसीडर कर चुके हैं. यू डोंट नीड टू गो थ्रू दिस अगेन. बट क्वेश्चन नंबर 12 इज अगेन ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज. e upon pi raised to power. So e upon pi and it starts at 5. So k is equal to 5 के लिए power 4 फिर power 5 फिर power 6. So e upon pi raised to power 4 को बाहर निकाल दीजिए, बाकी सारी ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज बनेगी. ज्योमेट्रिक सीरीज फॉर्मूला s infinity का लगा के on the bracket you get this number simplified and you see that this is finite, so this is convergent. 14th is also geometric series. You can explore it yourself. Then in question number 15, you have to match a series from one of exercise 3, 5, 7, or 9 with graphs of its sequence of partial sums. इसका मतलब है कि आपको जो सीरीज दी हुई है उसके सीक्वेंस ऑफ पार्शियल सम्स बनाने हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल 3 का पार्शियल सम पहला जो है वो 1 आएगा. अब ग्राफ पे देखें पहला 1 किस में आ रहा है? From this I consider S1. S1 means 1. इसमें y की वैल्यू कहीं 1 आ रही है? नहीं आ रही. इसमें y की वैल्यू कहीं 1 आ रही है? नहीं आ रही. इसमें कहीं y की वैल्यू 1 आ रही है? नहीं आ रही. इसमें y की वैल्यू 1 आ रही है. So this series corresponds to this graph of sequence of partial sums. 5. 7 कॉमन लेके बाकी सारी k की वैल्यू रख के किया तो इस केस में S1 is equal to 7. And we see that it is this graph in which the first partial sum is 7. So this graph corresponds to 5. Now in this case, अगर case मैं s is equal to 1 लिखूं, so what will be S1? S1 will be 1 upon 3 into 4. 1 upon 12. 1 upon 12 is what? 0.8 something. So where do I see 0.8 as the first term? Here I see 0.8 as the first term. Oh, sorry, this is not 0.8. This is 0.08. 1/12 अपना कैलकुलेटर इस्तेमाल करें और देखेंगे पहली टर्म क्या बन रही है. 1/12 is something this like this. So that is the seventh. This graph corresponds to the series 7. ये ग्राफ किस चीज का है? सीक्वेंस ऑफ पार्शियल सम्स का है. और मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ? मैं ये ट्रिक खेल रहा हूँ कि सिर्फ पहला पार्शियल सम लिख रहा हूँ, यानी पहली टर्म लिख रहा हूँ. k = 1 यहाँ रखेंगे तो क्या बनेगा? 9 + 3, 12 - 2, 10. ठीक है. k = 1, 9 + 3 - 2, that is 0.1. So where do I see first point on the graph at the height of 0.1 is this graph. नीचे मैंने और भी कैलकुलेशंस किए हुए हैं, बट मैंने आपको सिर्फ S1 से समझा दिया. यहाँ पे मैंने 16 क्वेश्चन है, उसने कहा कि मैच अ सीरीज फ्रॉम वन ऑफ एक्सरसाइज 4, 6, 8 and 10 with the graph of a sequence of partial sums. इसमें मैंने कुछ कैलकुलेशंस करके दे दिए हैं. हिंट्स में आपको पहले दे चुका हूँ, रिजल्ट्स में आपको बता चुका हूँ. इनको सिर्फ वेरीफाई करना है. रिपीटिंग डेसिमल्स को फ्रैक्शंस में सब रिप्रेजेंट करना है. डू इट योरसेल्फ मैंने करके दिया हुआ है. दैट्स इट अबाउट एक्सरसाइज 9.3. एंड जितने क्वेश्चंस मैंने आपको करके दिए हुए हैं, जितने मैंने आपसे कहा है करने को, ये अगर आप कर लेते हैं तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. बिफोर आई टर्मिनेट टुडेज डिस्कशन, आई विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट more difficult things that will make the previous difficult thing easier. Well, perhaps you people have heard about this famous question of a teacher who made a line on the board and asked the students to make this line short without using an eraser. So what was the answer?
सर एक और लंबी लाइन बना दें.
इससे ज्यादा लंबी लाइन बना दें. So if this is difficult, get into more difficult things so that you can you see previous difficult things easier. So inshallah, एक तो ये कि यार 2 क्लासेस का गैप हो गया, and I'm sorry for that. मैं ये प्लान कर रहा हूँ कि I'll record a lecture sometimes at 7:30 p.m. someday at 7:30 p.m. आप में से जो लोग ज्वाइन करना चाहें वो कर सकते हैं. I'll discuss things slower as compared to my normal speed in such a class, most probably on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. और हमने चूँकि 2 क्लासों की डेफिशिएंसी हो गई है, तो एक क्लास मैं थर्सडे को 7:30 पे लेने की सोच रहा हूँ. Whenever it will confirm, I will share it with you and share with the Zoom link for the class. So it's time, and I have to first terminate the recording.